I'm going to go through two main things in this video. One, how to run in the heat. Two, how to heat train. And of course, I'm going to take you through the course of Angeles Crest 100, which is on this video. It's a 100-miler here in Los Angeles. It's a legendary race. Here's the start line, and I'll kind of just rapidly take you through. The core is, I trained for this race not in a very hot environment. As you know, LA may not get very hot until probably this time. This is normally when it gets hottest. So I was taught to go and do my runs. Following my runs, go into a dry sauna, not an infrared sauna, but a dry sauna, and make sure that in the dry sauna, the temperatures around 175 or higher. I was typically at about 185, 190, and be there for at least 19 minutes right after the run. And that's within an hour time frame, 30 minutes to an hour. Now, if you can't jump into the sauna immediately after your run, what I suggest that you do, what I was told to do, is to spend more time in the sauna. Say you run in the morning, you go to the sauna, dry sauna in the evening. And in the evening, you go for up to 25 minutes, no more than 25 minutes. This is a protocol that I didn't understand until actually a year later. And let me explain to you why. So when you're in the sauna for the very first time, let's say you just finished your run and you go into the sauna for 19 minutes. You're not going to sweat as much as if you did go into the sauna without running, right? So here's the measurement, and this is the stick of measurement I want you guys to take. It's easier to measure when you don't go into the sauna right after the run. So in the evening when you go, or in the day if you're running in the evening, you go in and you time when you start sweating. Okay? If you start sweating, say, within 6 minutes or so, then you know that within that first 6 minutes, you're actually looking at a relatively decent heat adaptation rate. But if you're not sweating well until, say, you are in your 11th minute or 12th minute, that means your body's getting acclimated to the heat adaptation. So the sooner you sweat, the faster you sweat, the more heat adapted you are. That's really your benchmark. So the more you're able to go into that sauna post-run or in the evening, the more consecutive sessions you have, the more likely you're going to be able to get more heat adapted. Okay, so that's a really fundamental key here that I think many people don't quite understand. They understand that you need to go to sauna, or sometimes they put the hoodie on and they overdo it. You do not need 4 hours in the heat to get heat acclimated. You need consecutive triggers and stimuli for the body to recognize, oh, okay, I'm going to be in the heat more often. I need to adapt. For instance, I just did a run this morning. It's very hot. I'm still sweating a little bit, but that's good. That means I'm heat adapted because I just came off of Western states. So it all makes sense. So in this run, you can see there's a lot of hiking, and then there's a lot of downhill. We're just in the sun. There's absolutely no shade. There are a couple ways to do this. If you're running across the country or from LA to Vegas or any of those long distance races, put an umbrella up. The very famous runner James Poole from North Face taught me that. Now, if you don't have that, you must have a bandana, an ice bandana. Let me pause and show you what that looks like. You would do is you would run the session either in the evening or hopefully in the morning, and then in the evening or after work, you would go spend no more than 25 minutes in the dry sauna. That also works. So notice it's 6 minutes longer than if you had done 19 minutes. Back-to-back, 19 minutes, not back-to-back, spend no more than 25 minutes. The reason is you can actually over-adapt, meaning put your body in rev mode, go to a different zone, because your heart rate goes up. You don't want the body to have to work that hard. Heat really has to do with making sure you train with enough sessions in the heat at no more than, I would say, an hour and a half to 2 hours. The idea of going out there and drilling yourself in the heat to get heat adapted for hours at a time makes your body fatigue. So there, I think I have a good friend who's an Ironman champion. We often discuss the benefits of training leading into Kona, which is a big race for Ironman. Is like if you train too much in the heat, by the time you get to the race, you're not only heat adapted, but you're also fatigued by the training, because training the heat takes a lot out of you. So be very mindful of that. Don't overdo it. When you're doing your speed workout, if you're doing one for your training, if you're doing longer bouts, do it in the shade. Listen, and you do some of your heat training with hiking, with some level of specificity if you can find the heat. If not, use the dry sauna protocol. And here's how you know if it's working or not. It's very simple. When you go into the sauna, measure the first time you start to sweat, followed by when you sweat profusely. And you know that really dripping sweat. The sooner you drip sweat, the sooner you profusely sweat, that's when you are going to feel most heat adapted. So let's say, I'll give you an example. You go into the sauna, it takes you 12 minutes to start sweating. You're probably not that heat adapted. A month later, 45 days later, you go into the sauna and now you're heat adapted. Within 6 minutes, you start sweating. That's happened to me. Everyone's a little bit different, but use that as a benchmark. Did it for 60 days leading up to the race. You could probably go up to 90, but within the first 90 days, you don't need to go every day, right? You go once, twice, 3 times a week, maybe even twice a week. Just get the body to understand, hey, we're going to be doing some work in the heat. Get used to it. It's March or it's May. It's still cool, especially in LA. It's not that hot in May yet. So let's keep working on it. Now, if you're living in places like the South, or if you're living in Florida and it's hot year round and you're, running already in the heat in May and June, July, and you're coming to this race in LA for August, you're probably more likely going to be heat adapted already. So this is very specific to people who are training for an event or training for some kind of outdoor activity where they live in a place that's cold or has been cold mostly year round, and they're afraid to not adapt to their climate. So this is great. Of course, we're always taught to train with specificity. So if you have the opportunity to train the heat and in hour doses, and you can train with hiking and in the heat at the same time, that's probably the best. I think stairs are great. Stairs back and forth are great in the heat if you can find that. Those are some of the protocols I definitely used. That was pretty easy for me to get adapted that way. Now that you're sort of heat adapted, and this is something they don't train you to do, and I didn't train myself to do this too, is training yourself to eat when it's hot. It's a whole different ballgame. So when you're out there training and you're getting heat adapted, I've done this a few times. You take it with a grain of salt. The exercise physiology suggests that I don't think it's deleterious, but I also think you should have a glass of water and some food with you, at least minimum a glass of water in you, and make sure people are watching. Always get medical advice, seek medical approval if you're going to a sauna. People faint in there all the time. It's like a whole different ball game. Try to go when there's someone else in there. Don't try to solo mission it. You might be hypoglycemic. Your glucose might be low. It's not that you're diabetic or pre-diabetic. It just because when you're exercising a lot, your muscle draws in the sugar in your body, and your insulin draws in the sugar in the body too. So sometimes you get double whammy, and your blood insulin, your blood sugar drops and you faint, especially in the heat. The heat's your heart rate goes up. It's actually taxing your body a bit more than in the cold, in regular room temperature. So make sure that you always have a glass of water in the sauna. And here's something that I do, and I think it's important. In the heat, training for Western states or running Western states, most likely I'm going to be ingesting fluid and food while I'm going uphill or running downhill. So this is a perfect time just to kind of cue your body to say, hey, we're going to have to eat when it's super hot outside, and we're going to have to drink. So get somewhat used to this protocol. And I think that's something I really learned the hard way for many, many years. But this year, I tried that protocol and it seemed to work. Of course, you know, your body can only, 100 miles is an extreme length of time to run a race. So invariably, we're non-elites, right? We're not out there for 13 hours, 14 hours. Non-elites are out there 24 hours, 30 hours, 35 hours. So your body's exposed to the elements twice as long. So of course, a lot of us are going to get sick out there, or we're not going to feel well at hour 22. Yeah, that's normal. You're not out there for a very short time. So you need to prepare your body for those types of heat fatigue that comes with the territory. Relative to effort, but it's also relative to genetics, it's relative to your VO2 max, it's relative to your weight, relative to your training protocols. So take care of yourself so that you're able to look at these races as an adventure and not as a slogfest where you're testing life or death, right? So I think this is something that you can take to. The hotter it gets, cool yourself. And here's something else that I think is really important. These are called ice bandanas. And here's what an ice bandana is. An ice bandana like this has a zipper. And in the zipper, you put ice in it. You put the ice, you zip it up, you cover it up, you tie it up, and you run with this. The water dripping from the ice makes a world of difference. You do this on your ultras in the heat, you will pass the test most of the time. Now, here's a caveat. Some races don't give you ice. So if you have crew, aid, bring a cooler out there, put ice in there. So every time you see them at an aid station, they give you the ice, you put it in the ice, and you're good to go. This is a really important trick. Now, it's better on this area in the neck than in a backpack because you want it to drip over your body. You want it to drip all over your body. You want this over your neck to drip all over your back body and your front so you can move it. It could drip in the front, drip in the back. I wear 2 of these for races, one in the front, one in the back if it's super hot. And believe me, it makes a world of difference. So have your crew, if you have crew, make sure they have fresh ice in the cooler. That was the key for one of these Angeles Crest races. Now, I was at the 60-mile marker. I got to this aid station. They ran out of ice. Guess what? If you're running that Angeles Crest and you're listening to this, go across the street. There are people camping. Ask them for ice, borrow ice, and put the ice in your ice bandana and keep moving. There's only 1 or 2 spots in Angeles Crest where they run out of ice. And, of course, they run out of ice for the slow people, not the fast people. As the fast people run through, they don't need as much. They take the ice first, just like the watermelon gets taken. So if you're a mid-packer or just aiming to finish the race, hey, just be mindful of that. There are ways to offset lack of ice in these races. Ask. There's always a good Samaritan. There's more good Samaritans out in these races than not. People are in awe you're doing 100 miles. They're more like they're going to help you. So that's something I learned too, from these races. Okay, on really hot races like Western States and AC 100, guys, this is the top mistake I think I make in all of guys and gals. I make in my races. I get rid of the ice bandana at night. I'm like, hey, it's going to cool down in the evening. I'm good. No, it doesn't. Okay, running in 80-degree weather at night, it still feels like 95 degrees, 90 degrees. Your body adds 10%, like about 10 degrees, 5 to 10 degrees perceived temperature above what actually is outside. So let's say it's 85 at night, your body feels like it's 95 because you're running, not walking, and you're revving, right? So in that case, make sure your crew also prepares you for ice at night for ice bandanas. In races like Western States, there's ice everywhere, okay? These guys are incredible with aid station. With smaller races like Angeles Crest, where it's both these races are purely volunteer driven, but what's to say it starts slightly larger, so have more people to help, and Angeles Crest doesn't have as much people to help. So bring your own. It's not their responsibility all the time. Just because you pay them a few $100s, it costs a lot of money to put these races, a lot of time. You have to do trail work. Everybody contributes to this. It's not one person, one organization's problem. If you want to run trail races and you're doing these hundreds, help the race organizer, help the community solve problems. Don't create more problems for them. Thank them when you're out there. No one's making money out of this, at least in the 100-mile races. People are doing it because of their passion for the community. It's actually quite noble if you really think about it. So, we're out there doing trail work, but in the night, make sure you stay cool. Make sure you stay cool. You stay cool by having ice. Keep that ice bandana going. Don't let it go. And fuel. After mile 50, 55 was when you start to feel fatigue. Your internal body temperature is all gone out of whack and you don't feel like eating anymore. Well, your body is running out of glycogen within 3 hours of your stored glycogen. So it's your exogenous glucose, your exogenous protein, is necessary to help fuel the body for continuous movement. So your endogenous stuff that you stored the previous night, the previous week, burns out in about three hours or so. So you must keep fueling. In the heat, if you feel tired, if you feel like you're slogging, guess what? Eat more, nibble on it. Nibble on something that has sugar in it, glucose, sucrose, fructose, a combination. I know the gels taste horrible. Try a little bit of watermelon. Keep putting food in you. The ability for you to keep food and calories in you every 15 minutes in a hot ultra is critical. You don't need a lot. Don't overdo it. I know everybody's trying to, do carb intake of 60 grams or more, 120 grams. I think at a bare minute, try to get 50, 60 grams of, try over a 90-minute period, get at least 60 grams of carbs in you. In that range, and it's so easy not to do any. So try fluids, I do a lot of electrolyte drinks. I do a lot of salt. In these super hot races, you got to have salt on you. You're going to sweat more than you think you're going to sweat, and you have to replenish that salt. You can say salt stick, Himalayan salt, any type of salt, and you're going to taste, when you're sweaty, you should taste, at least I do, taste your body's salt being, I feel pretty salty right now, more than normal. So that's a good thing, not a bad thing. Don't overdo things, do by feel. A lot of indicators I get is if I start to feel cramping, that's for me, take it with a grain of salt, I start to add a little bit of salt intermediately, like just a little bit until the cramping goes away. It happens to me all the time. So something that you may be able to try over time. Critical trick, anytime, any opportunity you have to dose cold water over your head, over your body, do so. Because the water that remains on your hat, remains on your shirt, that water acts to cool you down because your body will sweat evaporate, heat, brings out heat. There's the little current that helps actually cool down your body between the water that's in your shirt and the sweating that's in your body. So, it's not a bad thing to douse water over you, and I think you see that with a lot of ultramarathons. So that's really my personal experience from running in the heat, and that's the secret to, I guess, finishing these races. I finished 3 Western States and Angeles Crest, and those 4 races are plenty hot, and that's how I got by. So I think fueling is important. Heat training is important. Don't overtrain for heat train. Don't overtrain because you're just going to tax your body too much. And how soon you sweat in the heat is a great indicator of how heat adapted you are, whether it's in a sauna or not. So hope you guys enjoy this episode. It's more geared towards heat adaptation from an exercise physiology point of view, first-handed. Thanks.